Everybody. This is Kody Bateman. Welcome to a brand new episode of Promptings with Kody B. That is me. I'm your host. Super excited to have yet another wonderful guest on with us today. His name is Howard Partridge. He is an international business coach and best-selling author of the new book, The 5 Secrets of Phenomenal Business. We're going to be talking a little bit about that in our interview today. This guy is amazing. He's been around the Promptings movement for many years. He's used our systems to create genuine relationships with others, and just a wonderful guy. You're going to have a great time listening to him. He has incredible stories, big mentors in his life, Zig Ziglar and that whole movement. And you're going to hear a lot of what he learned through the Ziglar organization. This is a phenomenal guy. Come on back here in a couple of minutes, and let's sit down for a great interview with my good friend, Mr. Howard Partridge. And there he is, my good friend, Mr. Howard Partridge. How are you?
I am phenomenal, sir. How are you?
Man, you look like $1,000,000. It's been a long time since we've seen each other. I know we used to see each other at events quite a bit, but with pandemic and everything going on, I haven't seen you in a few years.
Yeah, it's been too long.
It certainly has. I'll tell you what, we're sure excited to have you on the show with us. I know that on our journey, the Promptings journey that we've had over the years, you've been a big part of that for many years, and you've utilized some of our systems. We're going to talk a lot about systems today with you, but
Great.
You've used some of our systems to help you act on promptings and reach out. And I just love your stories and what you're all about. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you very much. Same to you. Absolutely.
Well, listen, let's jump right in. I mean, we're talking about, international coach, a best-selling author. I love to refer to you as Mr. Entrepreneur, and you teach entrepreneurs how to be successful. And this is right up our alley, because a lot of those listening in today, they are in-home business people, small-time to mid-size entrepreneurs are listening in on the show. And you've got a lot of great things to share with us today. So we're gonna jump right in.
Great.
First of all, I want to start with the latest book you've got out. It's called the Five Secrets of Phenomenal Business. How does it the 5 Secrets of a Phenomenal Business? Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I mean, again, anytime you hear the word secrets, you want to wonder, what are those 5 secrets? Right. But I know you're a systems guy, and I want to talk about the importance, right out of the gate, the importance of systems really in building anything. I mean, I think systems have to do with anything we do in life. So talk to us about systems.
You bet. So that book, The 5 Secrets of a Phenomenal Business, I learned from one of my many mentors, Michael Gerber. Said that the secret of a business is a system. And way back in 1997, I had been in business for 13 years, and I really felt like a slave to that business. I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I made good money, but, I just felt like, the business was running me instead of me running the business. So I started learning about systems, and that's why I wrote that book. There's 5 systems. Michael Gerber said that the secret of a business is the system. So I started learning about systems. I got that business completely turnkey, and now I've helped for the last 25 years, help business owners and entrepreneurs all over the world do the same thing. So when you have a system, it makes your business more predictable, makes your life more predictable. I mean, the entire world is built around systems, right? And so your team members know what to do. You have a predictable way to get results. if you think about a system like an automobile, right? An automobile is a group of working parts, or an airplane or any kind of vehicle is a group of working parts that are designed to do a specific thing. A vehicle, whether it's a bicycle or a car, an airplane or whatever, is designed to take you from where you are right now to where you want to go. So the greatest business lesson that I've ever learned and that I share with my clients is that the one and only reason your business exists is to be a vehicle to help you achieve your life goals. I mean, what good is your business if it's sucking the life out of you instead of giving you life? So when you have a more predictable, profitable business, then you can have more time with your family, for your faith, for your friends. You just, at the bottom line is you have more freedom.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like we here talk a lot about the importance of freedom is an important thing. Your mind has to be free in order to be able to take in these promptings to reach out to other people. And that's what we're about here, is all about acting on promptings and reaching out, creating genuine human connection with other people.
Yeah.
If you're trying to run a business without systems to run the business, you're not free.
Right.
And when you're not free, those promptings come in and they come out and you don't even recognize them because you're too worried about how to run your business or how to stay on top of your business because the systems aren't there.
Right, absolutely. So regardless of whether you're you're a solo business owner, operator, or you have a team, every single person on the team, including you, should have what I call a PRD, and I have one myself. A PRD is a performance results description. It's kind of like a job description, but we don't like for our team members, and I have almost 50 people on my team. I don't want anybody to have a job. I want them to have an opportunity. So when you create what we call a PRD, we describe the performance that's required for the result of that particular position. So my job, my PRD is in the areas of building strategic relationships, planning the business, presenting from the front of the room. I have a whole team of coaches and trainers and people like that. So my job is to direct and cast the vision, much like you and your organization is you're leading from the front, right? And each person on the team has a specific result that they're required to achieve, and there's a certain performance required to achieve that result. And so a PRD just describes what the performance is required to be successful. And every human being has to have, good personal habits, strong personal habits in order to build a business. So I often say that the phenomenally successful person builds a phenomenally successful business, because your habits, your personal habits, they transfer into your business.
Yeah, no question. In fact, it's interesting as I observe people, and I don't know why this is coming up right now. It's a prompting, I guess. It's going to sound a little bizarre to talk about this. I remember there is a old-fashioned diner in Las Vegas. It's like called the Pepper Mill or something. It's an old, it sits by itself in the middle of all these big buildings. It's been around for 50 or 60 years. And you go in there and it's got all this paraphernalia of Las Vegas. And I used to go in there to eat when I traveled there a lot. And there was a lady that worked there that had been there for 45 years. She had served like the who's who of Las Vegas, Elvis Presley, the Rat Pack, all of them had come into this place in the early years. And she had been there that long. She'd been there over 40 years as a waitress serving in here. And I remember asking her one day, what compels you to stay in the same business doing the same thing for 40 plus years? And it was interesting what she said. She said, a lot of it is I love to meet people, and I've met the who's who of being here. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But then she said, but I have a routine. And
Mm.
it really caught me. She says, I have a routine and I know exactly what my routine is every single day. And she said, I'm addicted to the routine.
Wow.
So I couldn't stop waiting on tables, even if I wanted to, because I'm so addicted to the routine. And that's why I've stayed over the years. I don't know why I thought of that story, but I just thought of that when you were talking about systems and having systems. Isn't that kind of what you're saying, is get into fundamental routines, right?
Yeah, because everybody has a routine. They just may not have designed that routine for success, right? Because if we observe our behavior, we get up, we do the same thing every day. And sometimes people resist having systems in their business because they don't want to be tied to a calendar, or they don't want to, they don't want to fill their schedule up, or they want to be spontaneous. And the fact is that, as Mr. Ziglar, one of my other mentors, and I have the pleasure of working with the Zig Ziglar Corporation very closely as their exclusive small business coaching company and the executive vice president of training there. Mr. Ziglar said that a locomotive is free as long as it's on the tracks, right? But
Right.
you get that locomotive off those tracks, which is your systems, and you put it in the mud over there, it's not going anywhere, right? And so systems actually set you free. There's freedom in systems because you set up a framework to work in to get the results that you want. And when you get the results that you want, now you're accomplishing your goals, which are fulfilling. And this goes for, personal and business, right? There's a right time and a right place and a right way to do everything. So I like to tell people, if you want to get better results, have more fun doing it, have less stress, and get the right things done at the right time in the right way, you need systems.
It's interesting because I put myself in that free for all category. I don't like calendars. I don't like to be tied down. The producers of this show will laugh right now because it's so hard to kind of pin me down because I am that way. I like to be free. Yeah. However, I've learned by being around these guys, I've learned that those systems actually allow me to be more free. In fact, I remember years ago when the Franklin day planner thing came out. That was like a long time ago. The printed day planner thing came out, and you had, prioritize 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. It just had this little system to it. Yeah. And it drove me nuts. It's like, I went to the course and went to teach. It drove me crazy because it's very structured for a guy like me. Yeah. But what's interesting is I made a commitment to implement it. 1, 2, 3, ABC, prioritizing the day, this and that, the other. And once I got that down to a habit, I realized it made me far more free and far more productive. And I think us right brainers, we have to trust that. All of you right brainers out there that want to, have your freedom to go do whatever, it's a learning process you got to go through. I'm sure as a coach, you probably run into that all the time.
All the time. And I would like to say this too, that when you create your schedule, the first thing that you want to schedule is your free time. That's the beauty of a schedule. Is that I can say, these are the days I want to go to the beach. This is the day off. I take one full day off every week, work 6 days a week, 5.5. And I can take off. The beauty is I can take off anytime I want, but I need to schedule that if I want to have the freedom and to also get the results. What was your question?
Oh, I didn't have a question. Just keep going.
Yeah. So, coaching. Yeah. So I created a coaching framework. It's called, the story goes like this. Every single human being on the face of the earth would probably agree that if they could get everything done that they already know that they should do and that they want to do, they'd be infinitely more successful. The secret to record sales and profits, the secret to business growth is, or the number one reason that people don't reach their goals, and number one reason people don't grow their business is something I call FTI, failure to implement. And you know what to do, you just don't do it. So do you need but what's the reason for that? The reason for that is, people say, well, there's just not enough time in the day. I'm just, I don't have enough discipline. I don't have enough motivation. The truth is that it's not a lack of, discipline. It might be a lack of focus, but why are we not focused? It might be a lack of motivation, but why are we not focused? It's really a lack of inspiration. Mr. Ziegler said that the secret ingredient of success is desire, and desire comes from a vision. Well, where does vision come from? It comes from belief. So people don't want to slow down and accept that they could do what it is that they want to do because there's some belief issue. I know this is getting a little bit deep, but your beliefs are going to show up in your values. People do what they value what they do, and human beings do what they see in their mind that they can do. So what I did in that framework, this is our coaching framework, is there's what I call 10 principles of phenomenal performance. Because at the end of the day, if you want to win, you have to perform, right?
Right.
And in order to perform, we need to be inspired. We need to have a vision. We need to be organized. We need to be trained. And we need to have the support, the encouragement, and the accountability of having people around us that will help us, whether that's a coach, a community, or whatever. And so we work through this 10-part framework where, first of all, the first one is potential. You got to understand what you're capable of. The second one is you got to have a picture. Third is you got to have a purpose. You got to understand why it is you want to do that. Fourth, you got to have people around you. Fifth, you got to have planning. And sixth, you got to have priorities, right? And I love the Ziegler planner, and I've used it for 10 years. I got a stack of planners, one for every year. I love getting in that planner. I love using that planner every day. But some people are like, oh, it's just too much work. And well, that's because we're not connecting the activity with the picture and the purpose. See, when you know what you want and you know why you want it, you know what the impact or the outcome is going to be, that gives you the energy to do the day-to-day hard work that you need to do every single day. So if I ever get a little bit like, oh, I just don't want to, I just don't want to do what I'm doing today, I remind myself of why I'm doing it. And I can simply do that by opening my planner, look at my vision board, remind myself of my why, and now I'm back at it. And I can schedule time off anytime I want to. And that's the other benefit of having a predictable, profitable, maybe even turnkey business. You set your own schedule.
It really does come down to having a compelling enough why to keep going each and every day. And I'm glad you make reference to that. It's really important for all of us. And a lot of times, in our seminars, we do exercise on defining your why. And sometimes people have a hard time doing that. It's like, well, I'm not really sure what my why is, and so it's interesting. And I'm sure that in your coaching, you probably spend time on that, because again, it's one of those 10 fundamental things, focusing on the why.
Yeah.
If someone's having a hard time really defining their why, a lot of people that listen to this podcast are direct sellers, network marketers, gig economy people that are doing small little business things in their home and over the internet. So a lot of times they have to be disciplined. It's not like they got a big cheerleader of people around them unless they go to an event. But when they're home doing the work every day, there's no cheerleading squad. They have to be disciplined. And we try to help those people get to their why. Why are you sitting down at the computer trying to generate a team or generate business every day? What is your why? So what's your advice on getting to people's why?
I have a very simple formula. Although the formula is really easy to understand. I call it the 5 P's of purpose. And it's really easy to understand, but I'm convinced that sometimes it's not time for us to know everything about our purpose, because I believe that every single human being was created for a specific reason at a specific time. Mr. Ziegler didn't start his career until late in life, but look at the impact that he had. But the formula is the first P is potential, understanding that your inherent worth as a human being. I have what I call the phenomenal talk with people everywhere that I go. Strangers, friends, it doesn't matter. I ask them how they're doing. They tell me. I say, well, did you know that you're phenomenal? And they say, oh, well, thank you. Or why do you say that? Or no, I didn't know that, or whatever. And then I say, do you know why you're phenomenal? And they say, well, why is that? Because you're created that way. Every human being is. And so when we understand who we are, we understand our inherent value, and then we begin to understand our unique gifts. See, everybody has a different gift, a different talent, different experiences to bring to the table. Then we look at the problem that we want to solve. There's something in this world, there's something that we see every day that bothers us. And if you can't find anything that bothers you, then we might need to do a little bit more soul searching. For example, right. I was talking to one of my team members one time, and she said it bothers her that people go hungry and they're homeless or whatever. And then so at the bottom of the triangle, you have potential. And then on one side, you have the problem that you want to solve. And on the right side of the triangle, you look at your passion. As John Maxwell put it, what do you cry about? What do you sing about? In other words, what do you talk about all the time? I talk about personal development all the time. I talk about business growth all the time. I watch Shark Tank every night. Okay. Like, I downloaded all the seasons. I watch it every night. It's a season that I'm in. It's not like, I haven't done that for 14 years, and I won't do it for the next 14 years, but I just love business. And so what's the problem you want to solve? What's the passion? And then that will lead you to your purpose, which is inside the triangle. And then the fifth one is your path. So if you take, let's say, Dave Ramsey, the problem that he wanted to solve is a debt problem.
Right.
And his passion is speaking, and he likes, radio. And so he built a whole career. But the fact is that he did Financial Peace University for free at one time. Mr. Ziegler, the problem that he wanted to solve was a self-image problem. People don't understand who they are. And his passion was speaking and writing and teaching, right? And so he found a path through mainly public speaking, but then, of course, books and tapes and things like that. Now through the legacy that we have, that we have in play now, where we certify people. But when you can really understand the problem that you want to solve, and it doesn't have to be some grand vision, it could be a simple problem in your family, in your community, in your let's take send out cards, for example. I mean, and I love send out cards. As you know, I've been with you guys for many, many years. I don't know if you knew this, but in 2009, when I first started, I sponsored more individuals than anybody else in the entire network. 2009, you had 25,000 distributors, but I never built a team. So I didn't build a big business like Jordan, So anyway, relationships And that's one of the problems that I want to solve, is that all business, all of life is about relationships. Why do we have such difficult relationships with one another? And so send out cards is a wonderful tool. I like to communicate. So the problem I want to solve is relationship problems. The passion I have is to really write, to communicate. I like to write more than anything else. I do a lot of speaking, a lot of coaching, a lot of training, and a lot of leading from the front of the room, if you will. I have a whole team of coaches, but people might be surprised to find out that I just like to write. That's why I just finished my 13th book, because if I could just do what I want to do all the time, I would just write.
You and I are very similar when it comes to that. I enjoy all of the other things, but writing is probably the number one passion. In fact, I have a grandson. He's just turned 9 years old, who came up with a concept of writing a series of books. He's only 9 years old. He wants to write a series of fiction books.
Yeah.
And he always sends me little messages. Hey, Pa, he calls me Pa. Hey, Pa, what do you think about if I write this stuff? And I remember I texted him a message that someone gave to me once.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really stuck in the mind of this 9-year-old. At least I hope it did, because they're certainly stuck with me. I says, grandson, just always remember that writers write. And he's like, well, what do you mean, Pa? I says, that's exactly what I mean. What you want to do is you write every day. You're a writer. So writers write. Speakers speak.
Yes.
Teachers teach.
Yes.
So whatever it is that you want to do, you do that.
Yeah.
And you and I are writers. So what do? We write. I write every single day. I write something.
Me too.
Yeah. And you have to get into the habit of doing that. And you find your ultimate passions that you have in life, you find through, I find through my writing. So yeah, I think it's powerful.
Yeah, very powerful. I was with Andy Andrews last week. I was on his show last week before. Anyway, we were at lunch before I went on the show, and he said, the reason, people want to write a book, the only reason that they haven't written a book is because they haven't written a book.
That's right.
You gotta do it the first time, and you'll get the experience that you can move from there with. So yeah.
Well, you talked about send out cards as a way to connect with people, sending cards out to people. Send out cards in and of itself is a system. You talk about systems, send out cards as a system. There's a contact manager that keeps track of everybody in your life, and it keeps track of their birthdays and anniversary, special occasions. You can take notes on people. It's part of a system. And so you can use that system to help you act on promptings. One of the things that I talk about in my seminars is in my contact manager, which is a system, I can scroll names.
Yes.
As I scroll those names, whatever name pops out to me is someone that may need to receive a message from me today, a message of kindness,
right,
a message of appreciation from me. So I just scroll the names until one pops. And then when it pops, I've already got their address in there. All I got to do is select a card, type a quick message, and push send, and out goes that message.
Yeah.
And of course, we've been teaching that principle for years and years, as a tool or a system to help people act on their promptings and create connection with others. I know you've done that a lot.
Oh yeah. So we use it every single day, and I have for many, many years. Recently, I reconnected with Jordan, and, I've been, sort of getting out of the habit a little bit, hadn't been sharing it as much with my audience, my group. And so we got back on track, but, all of business and all of life is about relationships, and personal greeting cards are, other than talking to someone voice to voice and, in person, personal greeting cards are, the most meaningful way. And the fact that, you can have a selfie. cards, sit out cards sitting over here that, me with someone, and they, you got those nice little frames now. You send a picture with someone and with the frame. I just franchised my coaching company, and my very, very first franchisee, I just sent him a picture of the two of us. He was signing the contract, and he's going to treasure that, that card forever, probably. Yep. And sure. So yeah. And so, when you think of CRM, contact relationship management program, the key to success in any business, and I've been, a solo operator. This is the third business. My franchise is the third business that I started from scratch. And, my first business became a multi-million-dollar business. Second business, become a top coach, international business coach. Now I'm franchising. And the thing is that when you get the key is to build a large network of people. What I teach people, I'm teaching a bunch of Ziegler coaches right now, and I tell them, you got two problems. One is you have a positioning problem. People don't know really what you stand for. And, if you try to be everything to everybody, you won't be anything to anybody. So, what do you do? Mm-hmm. And why is it important to me? And then the second thing is, once you get your messaging right, and you're talking about the problem and the solution, you get that part right. Now you just got to get in front of enough people. And so many business owners, they don't grow. Even if they have a great message, a great service, great product, whatever, they just don't get in front of enough people. And so what I love about send out cards is that I can send one card, or I can send, 200 cards just like that. And I can stay in touch with a lot of people. And I love my professional printer. He's great. But what I love about send out cards is that if you have, let's say, like our coaching membership, we've got 400 something clients. So we can create one card, sends it to everybody, it's personalized. We can add a gift. And, with printing, unfortunately, you got to get the art from the graphic artist, which that could take a while. And then you got to get it to the printer, and then the printer sends you a proof, and you go through this whole thing. You've lost the opportunity to have an impact. So just everything that there is about that whole program, I love and actually use. It's a relationship management system. And I also want to share a very sad story with you about Promptings.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really hate to share this story, but it really, just drives home the importance of promptings. So when I way back in 1997, the first business I started out of the trunk of my car, I got this revelation that I could have a turnkey business. I needed systems. So I brought a couple of guys on as partners, and we were partners for 8 years. We built it into a multi-million-dollar business. And as partnerships go, vision plus vision equals division, as my mentor says, and vision plus vision plus vision equals confusion, And so we all parted ways. Everybody's happy, and all of that. Well, one of my ex-partners, he would call me once in a while. And I got too busy, never called him back. And I always had that prompting, like, you really need to reach out to him, and just see how he's doing. And just, if nothing else, show him that you haven't forgotten about him, and that you appreciate the contribution that he made in your business, even though you guys didn't see things eye to eye. Well, I never did. And I got a message from his wife that said, I don't know if you knew, but Dennis had cancer for the last 2 years, and he passed away earlier today.
Wow. Yeah, that's everybody that's listening feels that, they
Yeah.
feel the emotion of that story. And that's why promptings are so important, and of course I started the whole promptings movement off of something similar to that. I ignored a prompting to say bye to my brother Chris, and
I remember that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how the whole thing started was,
That's right. I'd forgotten about that.
yeah, and you talk about the importance with people is, find a problem and what your solution is going to be to that problem. Well, that's what it became for me is, the problem is that we as people ignore those promptings. The
Yeah.
solution is what we created and send out cards and other products to help people act on those promptings. And I tell you, it's hard because you do get busy. It's just like in your life. You even had a tool,
Right.
but you got really, really busy. And we do. All of us as human beings get very, very busy in our own lives. And that's why it's so important that when those promptings do come, there's a reason.
There's a
And I'm
reason.
sure now you really feel that at a much deeper level. There's a reason those promptings are coming. And a lot of times we never know what the reason is. All we know is we have to act. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that story. I know it's probably hard for you to do that.
Yeah, I didn't want to, I mean, I've shared it a few times now so I can get through it without getting, too emotional. But there's a system. Had I created, I was talking to one of our coaching members the other day, and we just got talking about, we were actually talking about that particular story. And I was like, man, I need to create a friend funnel, right? Just put all my friends, all my, people that I care about in a group and send out cards. And just, how people send out Christmas cards and, you got your family and, what happened this year in your life and, kind of the update. Have something like that every month or 2 months, that had Dennis received one of those cards, he probably would have picked up the phone and said, hey, I appreciate you sending that card to me, because send out cards is personalized. And so many times people think that, you send it directly to them, even if you send it to 500 people, and least I could have, had just a generic card that goes out that, you're my friend and I like you. We have a man at Ziegler that teaches at our legacy certification course. He is one of the highest level recruiters for college sports. And so he places, I think he places in the NFL too, but he places mostly in college. And anyway, so he does this session with us and he has us send this text message out to 5 of our friends. And it says, hey, it's very specific. Hey, I was thinking about you today, and I want to tell you how much I appreciate you and I love you.
Wow.
And the responses that come back in real time right there in the room is just incredible. I mean, I could have just sent out a card to, everybody on my list that says, I like you. I appreciate you. Thank you for adding value to me. That's it.
It's so important. It like every human being has a need to get that kind of correspondence.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
It doesn't matter how successful you are or how put together you are or anything. Every single human being has an instinctive need to get messages like that, to know that somebody actually cares about them, that they're being noticed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they matter. People need to know that they matter. That's
Absolutely.
really what it comes down to. We all need to know that we matter, and a simple 1-sentence reminder from somebody else that, you know what, you do matter and I appreciate you. It makes all the difference in the world, and in a world that desperately needs it right now, don't you think? I mean, we're living in a crazy world today. We need as much of that as we could possibly get.
Yeah, it is. It's just, it blows my mind that just that simple little, phenomenal talk that I shared earlier, how blown away people are. That just, that made my day, that made my week. I'm thinking, what bubble do I live in where, I have a community where people are encouraging and supportive, and we forget, I think, the way the rest of the world lives. I was talking to someone who is a cashier, and she said people never even look at you. They're looking at the phone, their phone, and they never, interact or anything. So if anybody even just said hello, I would be, shocked, and Mr. Ziegler says that everybody wants the same 9 things out of life. They want to be happy, they want to be healthy, they want to be at least reasonably prosperous, they want to have friends, they want to have peace of mind, they want to have good family relationships, they want to feel secure, they want to have hope for the future, and they want to love and be loved.
Love and be loved. That's the common denominator of all of us, is to love and be loved, for sure. Well, listen, we are listening to the one and only Mr. Howard Partridge. He is an international business coach, best-selling author of The 5 Secrets of Phenomenal Business. I believe that we can get more information about you at howardpartridge.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
howardpartridge.com.
Howard Partridge.
Yeah, encourage all of you to go there. And I think if you go to your website, you can get access to your books from your website. Is that right? You can put in an email address and take care of that. I encourage all of you to do that. Howard is a dear friend. You have inspired me over the years. I know we haven't had the chance to connect a whole lot, but I do notice you from a distance and what you've been able to accomplish and what you do. You've been around great people, you've been around great mentors, and you have become a great mentor for so many people in the world. We love you. We appreciate all that you do, my friend. Any final words? I've been asking the questions. No more questions. I just give you the floor at the end of the show to share any words of wisdom you feel our audience needs right now.
It's very simple. Love people. That's it. If you love people, you will have a phenomenal life. Period. If you have a problem with somebody, love them. If you want to build a relationship with someone, love them. Well, you might ask, well, what is love? Well, it's kind, it's patient, it's not offended, it's not irritated. There's a whole list of things that love is. I actually wrote a book called Phenomenal Love. You can see it right up there.
Yeah, sure do.
And, so, learn to love people. That would be my advice. And, all of business and all of life is about relationships. Mr. Ziegler said, and I call him Mr. Ziegler because, I used to call him Zig all the time when I talked about him and everything. And a guy named Chris Dunham that used to travel with him just taught me. He said he talked about the pump. I have my own Ziegler pump over here. There's only a few people in the world that have that. And he said that's not a prop. He said I carried that with my own hands around the world, and he just convicted me that he said, I never refer to him as Ziegler. I refer him to as Mr. Ziegler. I said, for the rest, and he's Indian. He's, pretty powerful guy, and said, you know what, for the rest of my life, I'm going to refer to him as Mr. Ziegler because he was truly an American legend. And he said his famous quote, and the one that he loved, that was his own favorite quote till the day he passed away, November 28, 2012. You're going to have everything in life you want, all 9 of those things, if you'll just help enough other people get what it is that they want. And I can't think of a better tool than send out cards to express that love.
Yeah. Well, that's a great way to end the show. Really appreciate your comments. Zig is a big hero of mine as well. I love the prime the pump. I
Yeah.
refer to priming the pump almost all of the time, and always give credit to where credit's due, Mr. Ziegler, Mr. Zig Ziglar, and a great mentor for all of us. You're following in his footsteps, my friend. You're following in his footsteps. We appreciate all that you do, and take care, and appreciate all of you being with us. Make sure you tune in each and every single week. We are here to help people act on their promptings, to reach out in kindness to others, create genuine human connection. And as you do so, you reconnect with who you are as a person, and you're able to manifest who you're meant to be. And you need to manifest who you're meant to be, because we need you. The world needs you. Each of us have genius in us that only we have. So all of you listening, we need your genius. The world needs your genius. So let's go out and change the world. God bless everybody. Take care now. We'll see you.